Cruise news time. Well, one of the big four cruise lines, well, they've got all of their ships back in service. Did you have a dog in the hunt? Did you have a bet in Las Vegas? Which cruise line would be the first to get the restart done? Do you have a guess right now? And look, I got to show you some of my day in Costa Rica, and I found out something interesting about sloths in Costa Rica that will probably disappoint many of you. Cruise news. Let's talk about it. Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to Lido, Loca. I'm your host Tony, here with the latest cruise news updates. Guess where I'm at? I'm on the Pacific Ocean, y'all. I don't know how deep the water is. There's probably like sharks and jellyfish and stuff right over there. It's so cool to be on the Pacific Ocean. We're making our way to Huatulco, Mexico. That's where we'll be tomorrow. Today's the second sea day in a row, and man, this is like the second week of our cruise. It was so weird. We had this whole realization yesterday that it should have been disembarkation day on a traditional 7-day cruise. It should have been disembarkation day, but no. We left our bags unpacked. We lived that cruise life, and it's glorious. This ship is actually going to go from Los Angeles back to Fort Lauderdale, and I tell you what, that would have been a cool journey. 28 days transiting the Panama Canal, first from the Atlantic to the Pacific, and then from the Pacific back to the Atlantic. But we got other plans. All right, enough of that. I'm going to share more with you in just a second about my day in Puntarenas, Costa Rica. And but I'll do the news first. The other day I did the adventure first, and then I did the news. Let's try it this way. I'll do the big cruise news story first, and then we'll do the adventure. Please stick around for the adventure. It really helps if you watch the whole show, but I'm going to put the news first because I don't want to tease you with the news and not give it to you. So without much further ado, which cruise line has completed the cruise restart first? We'll talk about the big four, and maybe we'll stick in one more, but we're talking about Carnival, Royal, Norwegian Cruise Line, and MSC. That's what I consider the big four. I know others might slot in Disney or something like that, but Carnival, Royal, MSC, NCL, the first one to complete the restart with 23 cruise ships, Carnival Cruise Line. Dun, 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 dun. How about that? Like them, don't like them, whatever. They're the first ones to get to the finish line, and it was a close race to the finish. They started back up with the Carnival Splendor this past week, bringing all 23 ships online. But you know who's close? MSC Cruise Line, also close. They have 18 of their 19 ships online. They should have their restart finished soon. But you know who will finish next? Norwegian Cruise Line. Norwegian Cruise Line, 16 of their 17 ships online. They've got one more to go. It will come online on the 7th. So today's the 5th of May, 2 more days, Norwegian will be complete. And that just leaves Royal Caribbean. Royal Caribbean, a little bigger fleet, 24 ships in their fleet. The entire fleet for Royal Caribbean will be online by the end of May. So take that in. All the big major cruise brands that service the majority, the majority of the masses of people will all be fully returned to service by the end of May. How about that? That's exciting news for the cruise restart. And then also, look, since I'm on Princess, let me talk about Princess. Princess has returned 10 of their cruise ships to service, 10 out of 15. And by the end of this week, that number will be 12. It'll be 12 out of 15. So Princess really close to finishing the cruise restart. Look, it's exciting times. I make no secret about it. I'm excited for the cruise restart. And it's really exciting when we start seeing all of the capacity of the cruise lines come back so that we can have more people cruising, more people that want to cruise right now. Exciting stuff. Now, I do want to tell you about an odd law in Costa Rica that impacts sloths and other animals. But before I talk about Costa Rica, I do want to touch on the show yesterday. What a great conversation in the comments yesterday. The crux of the show is, look, there's COVID on cruise ships. People will be testing positive. There are infections happening, and there's processes in place that result in isolation, and it should result in communication. And we heard from a lot of you yesterday that in certain circumstances, communication has been a challenge. So that continues to be my appeal to the cruise lines to please up that communications game. But it does seem like, things are evolving. You know, a lot of people are like, well, why don't we just do away with testing, that kind of thing. It's a slow process. Cruise line still working with the CDC still determining many of the protocols. So it's going to take a little bit to unravel the ball of yarn, as it were, to get to a place where it's not overly regulated in the cruise space. But again, the appeal is, please, cruise lines, please overly communicate, if anything. I know resources are strained, but it's in that isolation, in that lack of communication, or in that minimal communication that people really get uptight. And I really think that you know, overly communicating will actually help out the situation. I hope that we see more of that, and I hope that you guys report more of that. All right, let's go to Puntarenas, Costa Rica. Let me tell you about the weird sloth law, but first, let me quickly invite you to subscribe. If you like staying up to date with everything that's going on in cruising, please consider subscribing with the notification bell on. That way you don't miss out on any of these episodes. Look, we're trying to get to that next milestone. In YouTube world, the next milestone is 1 million subscribers, and I think we can do it. It may take years, but I love to see the growth of the cruising community. I've talked to so many people on the cruise ship here that said, hey, years ago we didn't even watch YouTube videos about cruising. So it's a testimony about the community growing. There's a lot of great creators out there. Everybody is growing, and we can only do that by you guys you know, helping us spread the word. Tell a friend that likes cruising that maybe doesn't watch YouTube videos. Get some more people into the fold. A big thank you in advance. All right, so let's return to a couple days ago. Let's return to the cruise port of Puntarenas in Costa Rica. My first time ever to Costa Rica. I was pretty stoked, and my plan for that day is I bought a ship excursion, a really long ship excursion with multiple stops. This ship excursion, everything I'm about to show you, costs $159.95. And the day began early in the Princess Theater. We met together around 8:45, and then we boarded buses. And the cool thing is the buses came right up to the cruise ship. You walked off the gangplank, and you got right at the gangway, I guess, where it's not a pirate ship. You got right off of the gangway onto a bus where the whole tour began. We had a great tour guide that explained many things about Costa Rica as we made our way to our different destinations. The beginning was an hour-and-a-half bus ride. We went from the seaside into the countryside, and we ended up at the Costa Rica Animal Rescue. And this was exciting because Costa Rica Animal Rescue, they've got a lot of cool things to see. They have a variety of monkeys, they have birds, they have this thing that I don't know what it is. And then, of course, the star of the show was this little puppy right here. Look at this dog followed us around everywhere. It was very cool. Now, the star of the show, the sloth. Now, look, I'm just going to shut up for a second. This sloth footage is in real time. This sloth trying to get... Let's watch. Sloths move slow, that's what I'm trying to say, but a really cool day at the animal sanctuary. The weird thing, though, and what we didn't expect until about a day before the tour is you can't hold the sloths in Costa Rica. I didn't know that. I'd been to the animal rescue in Roatan, Honduras. You're able to hug a sloth, but here it says very clearly on the sign, these animals are not to be touched, and they don't even want you to take selfies with the animals. So if you're coming to Costa Rica and you see this sloth excursion, you can't hold the sloth. So a good time there. We spent about an hour with the animals. At the end, they gave us fruit and juice, fresh fruit that was growing there at the animal rescue place. They also had free Wi-Fi there, and that was pretty great. Then we boarded the bus and we left that area, another 1 hour and a half drive. And this time we went to the rainforest. Now at the rainforest, there were a couple events going on. There's a gondola, a sky tram that we took. We went up a mountain, we turned around, we came back down a mountain, and the whole way you're looking at the vegetation, you're looking for animals. We didn't see a lot of animals. We did see a couple birds in the trees, but I think the adventure was the tram. Now, you know, I'm getting ahead of myself. Before we boarded that tram, though, we did have lunch. They call this the husband's plate, and man, the food was so good. Rice and beans, chicken, vegetables, pasta salad. It was delicious, and they also had diet soda there at the place, which was exciting. And then the second part of the rainforest experience, they had 3 gardens for us to walk through. They had a butterfly garden, they had what they called an ornamental garden, and they also had a medicinal garden where they had different plants that were used for a variety of things. So we spent about 20 minutes eating lunch, 55 minutes doing the tram up and down the mountain, and then we spent about 45 minutes walking around these 3 gardens. Now, the gardens weren't huge. Oddly enough, I've been tracking my steps while I'm walking on the cruise, and I did less steps on this excursion than I did just on a sea day. But yeah, it was interesting. And then it was another 1.5-hour bus ride back to the cruise ship, where we returned to the island Princess. Now, it's been a couple days since I did that tour, and I've been thinking about it. Do I think it's a good value for around $160? I do think it's a good value for $160. Now, it was a lot of time on the bus, but the bus was fantastic. A very new modern bus with great air conditioning. And we spent about 4.5 hours on the bus, which was a long time on the bus. But in that 4.5 hours, we got to see a lot of different areas of Costa Rica. And the actual stops on the excursion I thought were very good. The animal rescue was that. All the animals that we saw there had been rescued from some interesting circumstance. We saw an owl there that had been trained to do birthday parties, like a wizard type owl. And they made the owl stay up during the day, and then it slept all night, and you can't be an owl and sleep all night and be able to feed yourself in the wild. So they had an owl there that doesn't know how to hunt because it was treated weirdly by humans, made to be a party favor. And yeah, so every animal at the rescue had a story. There were a lot of people from a lot of different places. Our tour guide at the animal rescue was from France. A young man about the same age as one of our sons. He'd gotten his degree in economics, and he was out kind of exploring the world a little bit, working at the animal rescue. Hold on, dolphin. That's cool. Pacific Ocean dolphin. All right, so let me wrap it up. So the cool thing about the rainforest part of the Costa Rican excursion is part of the story of Costa Rica is conservation. This is a big push for the country, and ecotourism is one of those ways they accomplish their conservation goal. So the rainforest park that we went to actually used to be farmland that they'd converted into forest by planting forest and really using that forest land as part of their conservation plan. So it was really neat to be there. Overall, I think a good value for $160. I think really you got to see all of Costa Rica. It's something that I would definitely recommend. Boom, that is the show today. I hope you enjoyed it. Time for you to sound off. Did you think that the Carnival was gonna be the first one to get their full fleet deployed? I kind of did. Like, it doesn't shock me in the least. The Carnival was the first cruise line. Carnival Cruise Line was the first of the majors to get all of their ships back in service. Carnival is good about doing stuff like that, and so way to go, Carnival. And then Costa Rica, did you see anything on those tours that you would like to see? Were you shocked to find out that you can't hug a sloth in Costa Rica? Leave a comment below. Thanks so much for checking out the show today. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, you can show your support by hitting the like button, and unfortunately, if you do not hit the like button, I'll have to punish you, even from the Pacific Ocean, and my punishment is this. On your next Pacific Ocean cruise, you won't see dolphins jumping out of the water. You'll just see nothing. How about that? That's not a good punishment. You want to see dolphins? Hit the like button. This is Tony for Lido, Loca, and until the next time, we'll see you on the Lido.